Now we're going to talk about the disc sander, and this particular disc sander also has a belt sander built into it, so it's a combo machine, which is really handy. Let's start with the disc sander. This disc is 12 inches across, and some disc sanders are different sizes, but 12 inches is pretty standard. It's spinning this direction. Because it's a 12-inch disc sander and it's spinning, we have half of the wheel, or 6 inches of it, going down, and we have 6 inches coming up. Okay? That gives us 6 inches of sanding surface because we only want to sand on the side that's going down. Okay, which kind of makes sense when you think about it. You want that to come down, and you want that disc to hold your board down against the table. So if it's spinning this direction, again, it's holding it against the table, and I'm in control of the board. If I sand on the opposite side, the side that's coming up out of the table, it's going to want to lift that board up. It's going to chatter. We don't want that. So you got 6 inches on the down motion side to sand your board. Now on the belt sander, which might be hard to see because the camera can't get into the corner, you have a 6-inch belt. The whole thing is going down. You have the whole belt that you can sand with. Okay, on both of these sanders, we have a slot here for a miter gauge, which is handy. But I really like it, this slot in the machine here, because it's a good visual reminder not to get your hands inside of that zone. Okay, if you get your fingers up against this disc while it's running, or the belt, it's not going to cut your fingers off. It's going to sand some skin off, and we don't want to do that. That really hurts. Okay, so good visual reminder. Don't put your hands within that zone past the miter track gauge here. Again, your 4-inch clearances, right? And that's going to be easy to do when you're building the projects that I have assigned. I don't assign projects where you have to come over to the disc sander with a small little piece of wood and try to sand it, and I do that on purpose. Pieces that you will do on here will be bigger, that you can keep your hands back like you're supposed to, and keep them back out away from that disc. Okay? I have had a couple students get injured on the disc sander, and it's been the same scenario each time. They grab something out of the garbage, they're doing something they're not supposed to do. They have a little tiny block of wood they're trying to shape, and they tap their fingers against the disc. Okay? This disc on here, I believe, is 60 grit or 80 grit, can't remember, which, if you know about sandpaper, is pretty rough, pretty coarse. If you tap your fingers against there or hit your fingernails, it's going to sand through them really quick. Okay, you'll flatten out your finger or sand through your fingernails, and that looks painful. Again, keep your fingers back. Okay, so the disc sander and the belt sander are really good for sanding outside curves and straight edges. Inside curves or concave, not so much, right? We'll talk about how to sand that here in just a minute. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate this. I'm going to sand this outside curve on the disc sander, and then I'll hit it on the belt sander. Now I have my outside curve here, sanded smooth. I hit this straight edge also. I believe, like I said, this is 60 grit. 60 grit takes off a lot of material quickly, so I would usually come to the disc sander, get it shaped down to its final shape, and then come up to the belt, which is 120 grit, and smooth it out. The belt takes off a lot less at a time because it's a higher that's the center.